Yo, what's going on? This is your host with the most, Ruben G, aka Gonzo. You can find me on Instagram at Ruben G1126. My Facebook page is attached to my podcast, guys. My website, Go Elite MCA, is also attached. MCA, also known as Motor Club of America. A roadside assistance company with 150K, guys, in benefits. One call per day. Up to 365 days a year, unlimited, $20 a month, will get you towed up to 100 miles. Also, remember discounts only, vision, dental, prescription. Vision, dental, prescription, and legal, guys. Remember discounts only, and much more. Alright, guys, this episode, number 3, is brought to you today as forgiving is a part and a step towards living. Guys, but what I mean by that is this, and it's kind of simple, it's kind of not, because forgiveness is also the hardest thing there is to do. And I don't mean forgiving and remembering it the rest of your life. Oh, I forgive you. I'm going to remember it. When you mess up, when you screw up, I'm going to be there to say I told you so, because I remember. No. I don't mean like that. I mean forgiving as in letting it go. Let it go. Build a new relationship, the same relationship with whatever it could be. Family, friends, strangers, a spouse, kids, whatever it is. Teacher and student, whatever. Because if not, that burden that you have placed on yourself, you have bonded yourself with those chains, is going to deteriorate your mind, your soul, your body, and it's going to latch itself onto you because you don't know how and don't want to let it go. It can physically tear your body up and get you sick. Your health can start deteriorating and changing. All because you can't just let it go. Not because you forgave that person. No. You forgave him, but you remember. You holding a grudge. You keeping that to your chest. You have got that and placed it on you, wrapped it in chains and said it's never getting away from you. That's what you did. That's not living. It's not living. And hear me clearly when I say it is not living. Period. Guys, understand that forgiveness is the hardest thing to do, but also the easiest and greatest thing you possibly can do. Forgiveness comes into our relationships, guys, our work life, our regular life, professional life, family life, whatever it is. With our kids and everything. Forgiveness is the main root that needs to be grounded and taking place. No matter what, guys, and that's just how it's gonna be. You need to understand that when you forgive somebody, first you need to understand why you should forgive somebody. You should forgive somebody, and trust me, there's probably people listening to this broadcast right now that come from all walks of life and all certain areas and culture and different standpoints, different views of this world, different opinions, and none of them are bad, guys. They all are opinions. If you could come together and communicate the right way and not tear somebody down over a certain opinion that they have and question why is this and why is that, you can connect the dots to see that many of these opinions, and you can even bring it down to faith, beliefs, have a certain area where so many are connected like a group that each one has in common with somebody else, has something in common with that person, with this religion, with this faith, whatever it is. So, that being said, guys, forgiveness, and I'm going to give you a little, I guess you could call it a short testimony of, and I guess you could call it an example also of what I mean by forgiveness. And this was pretty hard, guys, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I believe I have to. I believe, it's something that could be the right thing to do, and it might be able to help somebody out there that's listening to the Can I Live Network by Gonzo. So I'm going to go ahead and say this. See, a while back, a few years back, I'm not going to give my age, I'm not going to give a time date, I don't really know too much. I was in a fog at the time because of what happened. I was going to school, and yes, guys, my thing does show I am Bakersfield, California, Kern County. By the way, everybody, good morning or good afternoon. It's barely 12:57 over here as this recording is being done. So, good morning, good afternoon. And I was going to a school. I'm not gonna say which school. That possibly could give away my whole identity, this and that. And you know what? Either way, it will. I'll go to say anyway. Okay, so I was going to San Juan Queen for that course, criminal justice, and I just finished academy. I just got done doing a lot of things, before it got bad. I was there when it was good still. When they had a certain instructor there that we did a couple hundred push-ups a night. We did run 5 miles, like it was good. And if you're listening to this and you go there now, instead of about maybe a year or two ago, I feel sorry for you. I've heard all the things. Well, anyway, guys, so basically, look, I had decided to stay home one day. My family had decided to go to Yosemite for a family trip because I had a big exam coming. It wasn't a little test that I could be like, okay, I already have an A, I'm going to pass it on, or just go over it, not do it, and either do it the next day when I come back and take a hit, or just take a hit without doing it and still have a good passing grade. That was, I guess, the mentality at the time. So I had stood home and knocked out this test, right? But by the time the family gets back after a few days out there vacationing, what had happened to this day, or not to a few months back, had kept me so much in chains and bonded up by myself as well, because I could not let what happened go. And I put the chains on myself. I said, you know what? You're having a family. You're getting ready to have a kid soon. This and that. And you got these chains on you, man. You got to let them go. You got to let them go. And it took me a long time to do that. What happened was the family had come home and everyone was arguing, but like, no, whatever. We're going to make some dinner tonight. I was like, you know what? All right, sounds good. Help them cook some food, this and that. And I had my woman staying with me at the time, I think. I don't think she was at the time. I think she came over a little bit afterwards. No, I think she was staying with us at the time. My brothers and everybody, my sister, this and that. A good size of us in the home. Well, we're eating there that night, dinner on the table, and they start arguing, the parents, my mom and dad, about something. As you know, one of them says they want a divorce. And she says, you know what? I'm getting you, I'm bringing you with me. Looks at me and my brother and said, I don't want you. You remind me of your dad. This and that, right? And so you keep getting angry the way you are. You're going to lose your woman, this and that, whatever. And mind you, we did have some anger problems, at the time, because I didn't see my dad. He lived in the oil fields, It's 100 plus hours a week. So we didn't see him. All I would see waiting all night was for the boots to be next to the door. And then I knew he was home, staying up all night, 1 or 2 in the morning, knocking out, waking up, seeing his boots next to his door. But like, okay, he's home. I can go sleep now. I can go relax now. I could sleep peacefully. Try to do what we had to do, but being kids, his first call is all they're fighting. You gotta hit them when they get home. He's working all his, the entire week, all day long, all night long. He has no time, so obviously that created a lot of friction with the family because he come home and already he want to hit somebody or he's already mad. And so we didn't get along with our dad while we were living in the house. Now we do. Well, I love my dad, but while we were living in the house, we couldn't. Mom would be real fast to say something, which I don't. We knew better, but she still would. We try to call the situation herself between us brothers and sisters. But, so anyway, she says that and looks at us and says that. And from that day, I could, after that, she was gone. Next day I woke up, felt like a dream. But from that day, there are so many things I had put on myself, these chains, these bondage, binded all these things on me, mentally, emotionally, and it felt like physically, I was getting sick. I was deteriorating. Self-esteem was going low. Everything was going low at that level. And I thank God I had a woman there by my side that could help me through it all. If not, I gotta tell you, we had stuff loaded and ready because she had to take off with a friend. You know, the one that was deceptive, the one that was actually home able to see her. I understand, but still, the fact that it was a friend. You know, so when we found that out and she took off with him, whatever, it got to a point to where we had stuff loaded and ready to handle business. The old us kicked in, the old family history of what we used to do kicked in, and we had to go to, I told my dad, let's go to church this night. Let's, forget everything that happened. We gotta go pray because if not, something bad's gonna happen. Almost gonna lose me. All your kids are gonna lose you. And that was it. So, we gotta go to church. We gotta pray. So we did. That night, instead of doing what we were gonna do, I don't know what came over me. But I'm like, we have to go to church. If we don't, we're losing our whole family. Our family's not gonna have us around. So we had to go to church. That was a big decision for me to make. But I said, let's do it. Had to calm my dad down after pumping him up, him pumping me up. We had to go. And the family was ready to all take action. But when the family heard that we had gone to church, they're like, you know what? We respect that. And that was it. But for a long time, it was hard for me to forgive that woman over all the time. Because after a while, she was always calling him up, like, oh, you're brainwashing him, you're doing this, you're doing that. Calling my dad, my mom called my dad. And it was hard. I'll be sitting there at a barbecue listening to her like, I'm not even going to say hi. I'm not even going to say that I'm right next to him listening to this phone call going on right now on speaker. Screw this lady. After a while, so I met some of my firstborn. That's this, that's that. It went years before I could even see or talk to this woman. You got to understand this. It went years. By the time it was crazy. Well, see, after a while, but what happened was when they took off, let me rewind. Let me catch myself for a second. I think I went beyond the point of, oh man, I almost went beyond that point of no return. I gotta rewind. And so basically, she took off with a friend and took off after saying this after they got back from Yosemite, right? Then you put like a little time frame around it. I had stood at the house. I had recently got a new job while my dad had got laid off from the oil fields. Everybody in Kern County got laid off from the oil fields. Foreman became hands. Hands was gone. You seen top bosses above the foreman, the pushers becoming foreman and hands. It was crazy, It seemed like a whole ladder of higher ups and high rankings dropped down to the lowest level, and it was crazy to watch. It was crazy to see. People literally were committing suicides. People were doing all kinds of things. It was getting crazy. And so I had actually stayed at the house for a little while longer, holding a job after my dad got laid off from the oil fields, because I recently had got a job after that. And what happened was I ended up taking care of all my brothers. I think it was three brothers, myself, my woman, and my dad. And knowing what we had to do basically to get the money for it. I was paying at a young age like $1,400 a month for a damn house that had no reason being that high. House was falling apart. The only thing they had was land. Even the land had glass in it and bottles, and it was a bad situation all around. And I had to end up paying for it and sitting there for, months and months, and I think a year passed or 2 years. And after a while, I had to say, I'm sorry, but I'm done. It was a harder choice I had to make. Like I said, buying another chains on myself, buying this and that. It was the hardest decision I had to make to say, look, guys, that's your dad. These are kids. You might have to go with your mom no matter how bad you like it. I can't do this no more. And so we all split. I didn't see them for another a year or so afterwards. But I had to. It was hard. And, they forgave me, this and that. And now, fast forward, I think like 3 years later. So we're all actually doing a lot better. We see each other still, this and that. When we meet up, it's like we never even left, which is really cool. I thank God for that. I thank my woman for helping me not do anything dumb at the time. And it had gotten pretty crazy, but it kind of all worked out, you see. Now, after all that, I had so much chains on myself, so much bondage. I was binding the weight and the burden of everything that had happened on myself, with the fact that, at the same time, maybe that wouldn't have happened if I had just gone with them. Maybe that wouldn't have happened if we were always arguing, this and that, and so much stuff is going through my head. I had to put its own chains on myself, along with the fact that I had basically felt like abandoned my brothers and everybody else, and said, I gotta go my own way. Now, when that had happened, it took so long for me to actually learn how to, I guess